To add a new access point into Isonas Peer Access, what you're going to do is once you are logged in to your Isonas Peer Access tenant, you will click on the access points icon, which is also the picture of this door off to the left. Bear in mind, this tutorial only refers to RCO3s, RCO4s, and IP bridges, as our new Engage device types utilize a different adding process. When you pull up the access points list, you will see all your access points are currently on your tenant, at which at this point I do not have none, as this is a brand new tenant. And then to add my first access point, I will click on the green plus sign up here at the top, and then from the drop down I will choose Create Access Point. This will pop up a wizard that will walk you through the rest of the process. First thing we'll ask, is your device ready to connect? At this point, you'll go ahead and choose yes if the device is connected and powered up and can get out to the web. Then you will put in the MAC address of the device. The MAC address locations will be on the side of RCO3 and RCO4 readers, or alternately, there is also a second copy of the MAC address on the back side of those units. And in the case of IP bridges, there will be a sticker on the very end of the unit's housing. Right, at this point, I have put in the MAC address of my access point here. Right, and it did connect up here. And once it connects up, it will enable you to finish setting up. So I will go ahead and put in the name of this device. I will call it RCO4 Demo. Description, that's something just for your own information. You can put in whatever you want there. And then you also need to make sure to choose the access point that you want to add it to. In this case, I'm going to use the default all doors access point group. If the device does not connect, it will eventually time out and say not connected. And if it does, no big deal. You can just click configure later once you get that option. And at that point, the system will still keep trying to connect to that device. But since it did connect, I will hit configure now. Then the next step is setting up the settings of the access point. So in this case, for the RCO4, we have the door sense option, which is an extra device you can add in that can tell whether the door is open or closed. At this point, I do not have one on mine. Latch, this tells you whether or not you're actually going to activate a latching mechanism off of the access point via the red and black wires or via an ASM, at which at this point I am tied into an electric strike. The latch interval, which is how long the door unlocks upon a normal card read or credential read. Fail modes, this refers to the type of device you are unlatching. Failsafe you would use for electric strikes or mag locks, as those devices require power to lock down. Fail secure refers to fail secure type electric devices, such as fail secure strikes, that require power to unlock. Right, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose fail secure. Now, one thing to bear in mind is if you are using an ASM, which is a secondary type of device, you will make sure to always choose fail secure, as that is the only way that the ASM is set up to function. Tamper sensor, this refers to a motion sensor built into the housing of the device so that if it's removed from the wall, it will activate a tamper. In this case, I'm deactivating this, as this is a demo unit that sits on my desk and moves around frequently, so I do not want the tamper to go off every time you move it around. ASM, this refers to a secondary smart relay type of device that has a single pole double throw relay and some voltage contact outputs so that you can offset where the latching commands come from, or if you need a dry contact off of this reader to trigger a secondary relay downstream, then you could also use the ASM. Right? Rex/aux, this refers to the green wire off of RCO4s and RCO3s and the auxiliary or Rex inputs on IP bridges. If you activate this, then what will happen is if you do trigger something off of the green wire or the auxiliary or request to exit inputs on the IP bridge, then that will tell the door to go ahead and lock it at that point. You usually use this with motion sensors in relation with magnetic locks. Right? In this case, I do not have that on my device here, so I will go ahead and leave it deactivated. Beeper, this just turns the beeper on and off for different types of events. You can set the beeper to beep on accepted cards, rejected cards, request to exit events, and tamper events. Keypad and keypad backlight, this is options that will only function if you have a RCO4 or RCO3 with keypad functionality. And you can choose whether or not to have the keypad activated and whether or not you want the backlight to be functional on that. The aux-rex LED, this refers to just when there is a rex or aux trigger, whether or not we'll also activate the green LED on the rear itself. Lock on open and lock on close. These are options that only function if you have a door sense active and built in. Lock on open, that refers to as soon as you unlock the door and you go to open it, as soon as it sees the door open, it will immediately lock the latch, or as soon as it sees the door reclose, it will immediately relock the latch. So for now, go ahead and click Save and Continue to walk through this wizard. And then the next step is going to go ahead and just test the functionality of the unit. At this point, you'll just tell it to lock once the test is done. It'll walk through testing. You'll validate if the test was successful based on what your latch did, so long as it's wired in correctly. And then you can tell it yes at the end, and then next. And then if you did choose other options, there will be other tests here. You'll walk through those as well. And then when you're done, you'll click Save. And at this point, the access point will show listed on your tenant. It will show the firmware, and it will show whether the device is currently connected or not.